Oh, these people just don't know when to go away. Former Vice President Mike Pence on Saturday harshly criticized former President Donald Trump for his role in the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol, widening the rift between the two men as they prepare to battle over the Republican nomination in next year's election. President Trump was wrong, Pence said during remarks at the annual white tie gridiron dinner attended by politicians and journalists. I had no right to overturn the election, and his reckless words endangered my family and everyone at the Capitol that day, and I know history will hold Donald Trump accountable. Pence's remarks were the sharpest condemnation yet from the once loyal lieutenant who has often showed away from confronting his former boss. Trump has already declared his candidacy. Pence has not, but he's been laying the groundwork to run. In the days leading up to January 6, 2021, Trump pressured Pence to overturn President Joe Biden's election victory. As he presided over the ceremonial certification of the results, Pence refused, and when rioters stormed the Capitol, some chanted that they wanted to hang Mike Pence. Jeez. The House committee that investigated the attack said in its final report that the President of the United States had riled up a mob that hunted his own vice president. With his remarks, Pence solidified his place in a broader debate within the Republican Party over how to view the attack. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, for example, recently provided Tucker Carlson with an archive of security camera footage from January 6, which the Fox News host used to downplay the day's events and promote conspiracy theories. Make no mistake about it, what happened that day was a disgrace, Pence said in his gridiron dinner remarks, and it mocks decency to portray it in any other way. Trump, meanwhile, has continued to spread lies about his election loss. He's even spoken support of the rioters and said he would consider pardoning them if he were reelected. Speeches at the gridiron dinner are usually humorous affairs where politicians poke fun at each other, and Pence did plenty of that as well. He joked that Trump's ego was so fragile he wanted his vice president to sing Wind Beneath My Wings. One of the lines is, Did you ever know that you're my hero, during their weekly lunches. He took another shot at Trump over classified documents. I read that some of those classified documents they found in Mar-a-Lago were actually stuck in the president's Bible, Pence said, which proves he had absolutely no idea they were there. Even before the dinner was over, Pence was facing criticism for his jokes about Transportation Secretary, I don't know how to pronounce this man's name, Mayor Pete. Pence mentioned that despite travel problems that were plaguing Americans, Mayor Pete took maternity leave after he and his husband adopted newborn twins. Pete is the only human person in human history to have a child, and everyone else gets postpartum depression, Pence said. Okay, that is kind of humorous, and it's not even about like his orientation. So the article mentioning that is just being weird. Um, Here's the thing: Pence is another one of these politicians who stands for nothing, um, and basically is hoping that he can defeat Trump for the job that he has always wanted ever since he first ran for the House so many years ago, by mentioning that this illegal thing that he was a participant of, the January 6th event. So to respond to some direct statements rather, where he says, I know history will hold Donald Trump accountable. What does that mean? I mean, we have historians who say that Trump was not a good president, but he's still someone who is the odds on favorite to win the Republican nomination for this election after losing the last one, which is very, very much a testament to how popular he is within Pence's own party. And when he talks about how Trump threatened, like I don't dispute that he felt threatened. I mean, I don't think any politician should have people chanting for them to be hung. Or hanged rather. That's not what a democracy is supposed to be. Even with people you disagree with, and I've said before, I don't agree with Pence on pretty much anything, other than maybe trying to have relations with North Korea, and I don't support any violence coming to him, especially when he's doing what is correct, which is certifying the results of an election. Um, but what his point here is it really means nothing. I mean, when he talks about what happened that day was a disgrace and it mocks decency to portray it any other way, decency in American politics doesn't matter. That's why the president who played a significant role in that happening by spreading lies about the election being stolen for over for what 2 full months before that occurred, is currently the odds-on favorite to get re-elected, or at least renominated by his party for a non-consecutive second term as president. If decency actually mattered, and I don't even like using that word, if Republican voters were not so cult-like in their defense of Trump and their devotion to him, he would run for another term, right? As he's doing now, and be getting 2, 3, 5, 10% to Haley and DeSantis at 30 and 40. But that's not what's happened. Instead, it's the reverse, where he, except even worse, because in some polls he's at 50, 60, 70. So decency, as he defines it in American politics, does not matter. Or at the very least, it doesn't matter for the Republicans. And really, that's the elephant in the room, that you have this guy, anti-LGBT, right? Pro-war in pretty much every instance other than North Korea. Let's not forget, he was fine with killing the Iranian general Soleimani. And he wants to tell you about the way people should be treated after he gets threatened. And I have sympathy, because I don't support that type of stuff being done to elected officials or anyone. Again, it's a principle of mine to not advocate for those types of things to happen to people I don't agree with. But until he's able to acknowledge that my party has developed a tumor, and that tumor is allowing someone who played a direct role in attempts to inflict harm on me and possibly people I care about as well, that individual is not only still able to go around and run for president for the third time in a row, but be the odds-on favorite to win the nomination for the third time in a row. So until he, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like a lot of these modern politicians, because Pence is someone who wants to be president. He's someone who wants to either win this election, maybe 2028. He wants to do it at some point in the near future. And he can't honestly believe that if he sits here and just doesn't say, I can just have the same positions as Trump but not say anything about Trump and I might win. He's an idiot if he believes that. And it's like he doesn't want to reconcile with the fact that, and I understand that this must be hard for him to accept, but when he first ran for Congress and had his dream of one day sitting in the White House, you climb the ladder, you run for the House, or then you run for senator or governor, and he became governor. And then, oh man, this president has picked me for his VP spot, and I'm a heartbeat away from the presidency. It must sting him every single day to know that he will never be president of the United States, not because the Republican voters find his positions atrocious, which they should, but they don't, but rather because he broke from dear leader during an incident where the cult leader wanted him to do something that was undemocratic. And he's going to have to live with the electoral consequences of that decision for the rest of his career, which is to accept that if he runs for president and the whole national GOP voter base gets to vote on him, he'll be lucky if he gets 10% of the vote, or even 5%. This is not the Republican Party, it's the Trump Party. And unfortunately, with Pence doing one good thing, one right thing, one correct thing, by not trying to overturn or even entertain the idea of overturn the results, he has destroyed his own career. He doesn't want to accept that. And I think instead of running for president, because there was an article I read from The Hill like 2 months ago, and it said, or 3 months ago, and it said that Pence and Pompeo should just not even bother getting in. I think instead of running for president, he should just become a public speaker and stay out of even trying to get anywhere with this part. Because I just don't see a lane for him. The voters are too devoted to Trump to even give one shred of an ounce about him. Whenever you break off from him, that's the end of your career. This is the Trump party. And look, I have problems with Democrats too. They have some ways as well that vote blue no matter who trash. But I'll tell you one thing: you can say I'm not a fan of Biden or Pelosi or Obama, and you'll have people if you run who will still vote for you, who will still support you. I mean, heck, Pelosi was disliked even in her own party for a while. That's why they lost 60 seats in the 2010 midterm for the House. But yeah, there's all I'm getting at is Pence is someone who, by doing the right thing after having a career of crappy, awful, despotic positions, is has effectively destroyed his own career, and it's. I would feel sad for him if I didn't think he was just another opportunist politician who, again, like Liz Cheney, did one good thing and now gets propped up as someone who people want to see in the White House, despite them standing for nothing that's actually different from the last people that we've seen there. So I don't know what else to tell him. It's sad that this happened on January 6th of 2 years ago, but it's even sadder if he thinks that he can run for president and win while Trump is running in the Trump party. It's not going to happen.